Set phasers to overload. It's time for media news.
To say that you behave childishly is an insult to children everywhere.
Media News, episode 88, working at the saddest factory.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome to my video outhouse. It's time once again for JR.
Media News. What else would it be time for?
Media News, coming to you from Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are 15% off every day for everyone, including folks like you and the Rock'em Sock'em Robots by Marks.
Yeah. Hey, for those of you of an age, and Comic Book Man and I are of an age, to remember, yes, and it would be intertwined like this, the two arms. Yeah, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. It was a wonderful toy where it was two robots, and you push the plunger things, and the arms would go back and forth, and their heads would be on like spring-loaded little posts.
You knocked my block off!
Exactly.
There was no better drinking game in college, sir.
No, and I was recently told that this game is still around. It's still being manufactured by Mattel, but in a smaller version. It's teeny tiny. But anyway, I digress.
What about what does that have to do with Media News?
Well, as you could probably guess, one of our favorite things here at Media News is to report to you stories about innocuous games that become motion pictures.
And
toys. And toys as well.
Toys.
Yes, we've had Battleship. We soon have Magic 8 Ball.
Game.
Yep. What else? There's more coming. I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
We
talked about Clue, we talked about Monopoly, we talked about
all of those.
Chutes and Ladders.
Add to that list Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah.
Wolfgang Peterson, who gave us Troy and Air Force One, and, as you pointed out...
And who was briefly connected with a world's finest Superman-Batman movie.
Wolfgang and Mattel are teaming up to work on Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the movie. The screenplay is by Kurt Wimmer, who did Equilibrium and Law Abiding Citizen, which is some pretty heavy-duty stuff.
So you'll have a red robot and a blue robot?
I would imagine, yes.
A Republican robot and a Democrat robot.
Wait a minute.
A conservative robot and a liberal robot?
Wow.
I'm writing here, so you'll have
Rachel Maddow in one corner and Glenn Beck in the other corner. And they'll be doing a lot of that. Yeah, so Rock'em Sock'em Robots coming soon. Where shall we jump to now? How about a Marvel story? You know, a week doesn't go by that we don't have a Marvel Media News story.
Okay, what about Ant-Man?
Yes, the Avengers. We have some potential casting for the Avengers, for those Firefly fans out there, and Desperate Housewives fans, for that matter.
Yes. One of which is calling right now.
Yes. Nathan, so try to ignore that.
Yes.
Nathan Fillion, who played the captain on Firefly.
Yes.
And Eva Longoria, teeny tiny little Eva Longoria, are being tipped to play Ant-Man and the Wasp. And they'll be
Ant-Man and the Wasp in what?
In the Avengers.
Oh, the
Joss
Avengers.
Whedon's The
Okay.
Avengers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp, played
cool.
by two TV people, and there'll be a big can of Raid, and it'll be fantastic.
What about? I've totally lost my train of thought here.
That's okay. Your train of thought derailed.
Stars is doing a Camelot series with Joseph
let's do a little
Fiennes.
TV news. TV news. Stars has kind of jumped into the original TV series mode recently with their very successful Spartacus.
Spartacus, yes.
Yes, and they're now.
I'm Spartacus.
Yes, so am I, and
Me
so
too.
is Cameraman, and anyone who's Spartacus can come in and get 15% off all your new copies.
But what does it have to do with Stars?
Stars is doing a Camelot series.
Oh,
Camelot.
God bless 'em.
Camelot. It's a silly place.
Yes.
No, Joseph Fiennes, who's fresh off of his firing on Flash Forward.
Yes.
Everybody's fired.
Everybody's fired from Flash Forward. Is going to be playing Merlin the Magician. And Casino Royale Bond girl Eva Green is going to be Morgana. Now, there's been no other casting at this point. Those are your two headliners right now. Who's playing the King Arthur? Who's playing
Betty White?
Landslide. Betty White, who's very hot right now, maybe playing...
Old Morgana.
I think Guinevere.
Old Morgana.
There's another star story. We have.
Why don't you take it?
Finish this up while the
two-star
phone
stories.
just stops ringing.
British TV fans, for those of you that are familiar with the spin-off to Doctor Who, Torchwood, have probably said, hey, there hasn't been a season of Torchwood for like 2 years now. What's happening? It's coming back. The reason it took so long is because the BBC and Stars are going to do a co-production of Torchwood, which means we're going to get 10 episodes. It's going to be a combination of a British and American cast. Some of the original British cast will be in it, as well as some new people from the States. Look for that to start shooting later this year. It'll be on next fall. Not this coming fall, but the following fall. All right, I'm going to keep going here because Comic Book Man is
wrapped up in something.
He's calling for a pizza, and then he's trying to work on getting a hair appointment.
some
All right.
tax problems he's got.
He's got tax problems. I think his bookie's calling next, so this may be all me, kids. All right, last week we reported that Guillermo del Toro had left, actually not left, but
Was escorted.
No, not even escorted. There's been problems at MGM.
Time ran out. All right.
MGM's had all these financial problems. They can't get any movies made right now, including The Hobbit. Sorry, kids. The Hobbit's not going to get made until MGM comes out of their
And the one they
financial.
can't even release that's done, right?
They can't release Red Dawn,
Dawn, right.
because it's they can't afford the advertising. Here's the thing. As a side note, MGM is $4.5 billion in debt. That's how much
more
money
than
they
me.
need to get out of debt. Warner Brothers has offered them $1.5 billion to get out of debt. That ain't enough. So here's what happened. Guillermo del Toro cannot hang around and wait for this to be over with, so he left the Hobbit production. We reported last week that. We also reported that Neil Blomkamp, who directed District 9, was hotly tipped to take over the directorial reins. He ain't waiting around either. He said no, he's not going to hang around. Now, guess who is being tipped to direct The Hobbit? The man who said he wouldn't direct The Hobbit.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson
What
is in
the-
negotiations to direct both Hobbit films. So maybe that's the way it should go. You know, this is probably what the fans
Circumstance,
want.
Not bad.
And why not
be
have the
worse
guy who
circumstances, sure.
spearheaded the whole thing in the first place to come back and finish off the job? All right. Yours truly, good old JR, has seen Toy Story 3. My review is up at myalternatereality.com. This place's website right here.
You're not supposed to know that. Only
it's
Sarah knows that.
well, Sarah knows it, but she told me about it, so I'm all up on that stuff.
All right.
It's a fantastic film. Pixar's made a deal with the
You
devil.
are over the moon about it.
I
Very giddy.
really love the film.
5
But for
stars.
those of you that have seen it, you go, hey, that's it, right? No more Toy Story? Guess what? Not
Oh,
a sequel.
don't.
Nope, not a sequel is coming. But John Lasseter has said a Toy Story short subject will be attached to Cars 2. So what's going to happen, where this takes place in the timeline of the whole Toy Story thing, who knows? But for those of you that have seen 3, you know it sort of definitively kind of comes to an end. All right, Sherlock Holmes 2. That's coming. Robert Downey Jr. is already signed. So is whoever played Moriarty, Jude Law.
Yeah. Right.
And the big rumor is that Moriarty was going to be played by Brad Pitt. That had been going around the net all over the place. I guess it's not true because now there is a list of actors. And the best one that I can think of on
he
this
still
list.
on it?
He is still on the list. Brad Pitt is still on the list. So is Sean Penn, which is a really unusual but interesting choice to play Professor Moriarty. Javier Bardem is also on that list. Gary Oldman, who's another terrific actor, but he seems sort of standard for that role. You'd almost expect a
Oldman's
Gary
done it a
Oldman.
bunch of times.
But this name jumps out, and I think this would be a great choice. Daniel Day-Lewis, one of our preeminent
that would be
actors.
a monster get.
It would be a great gig. and
that doesn't even sound right.
they'd have to offer him a lot of money, and that script would have to be
He
really
doesn't
good
work
because
for
he's
money,
very
though.
picky about
Yeah,
his
he
scripts.
doesn't really work for money.
But I'd sure love to see it, and I'd be more than willing to pay to see that. What else have I got for you here, kids? How about another Marvel story? Speaking of short subjects, when I mentioned the Toy Story thing, Marvel announced this week that for their second-tier characters, they're going to be doing short subjects that would run before the main Marvel feature. In other words, when you go see Thor, before Thor would start, you would see a 10 or 15 minute long Black Panther short subject or a Doctor Strange short subject. Now, they're not talking. Is it live action? Is it animated? Nobody's saying, but we're getting short subjects. I think it would be interesting to do a throwback to the 30s and 40s if Marvel did chapter serial type of things, where you'd come into the theater to see the Thor, you'd get part 1 of this
Right.
chapter thing, and then a year later you come back.
You'd be really pissing people off.
Yeah, but imagine the money
much-
rolling in. I really need to see part 2 of that Black Panther
It
short.
only cost me $200 to watch this whole movie.
I've seen Thor 10 times. I gotta find out how this Black Panther thing turns out. So anyway, that's coming soon as well. And I think, what else can I give you here really quickly?
Very quickly.
Speaking of Doctor Strange, there's been screenwriters hired. Thomas Donnelly and Josh Oppenheimer, who did Sierra and Sound of Thunder, 2 lousy movies, are writing a Doctor Strange feature film. This will be the first film under the Disney deal. That's all I got. That's it for this media news.
Comic Book Man is nowhere to be
The
found.
bookies have not only called him, they've come in, they've
They're
taken
busy
him out back, and
breaking
they're
his
roughing
legs.
him up. So we're done. If you want more
Ow.
of my reviews and Bo Cephas's media reviews,
And all kinds of
there's
stuff.
only one person on the face of the earth that knows where you can find that, and that's our resident girly girl, Sarah. Sarah, where's it at?
www.myalternatereality.com. So can I go home now?
Thanks, Sarah. All right, that's it for me. Comic Book Man will never be back again. He owes too much money. He's like MGM. Only worse because it's on hookers and horses. But anyway, that's it from me. That's it from Comic Book Man. Until next time, I'm gonna steal his thunder. Bye.